Hey there, my fellow grease monkeys, and welcome to another tutorial. It's been a while, and in today's tutorial, we're going to be going over how to link your scene files into one main file so you can save or you can optimize your file. Sometimes, when you make a giant like Blender file with all these scenes and camera changes, it can be a lot on the brain and it can be a lot on the computer's brain. So this is just a way to try and mitigate some of that and optimize your scene using multiple Blender files. Well, I'll explain that now. All right, so here we are in our Blender file or our Blender scene. And in the scene, we'll just break down. This is what's going to be what we're trying to achieve. So we have three different shots: a shot of cube, a monkey, and the gem. And we have it here in the sequencer, and these are all linked files. These are all different blend files that have these scenes, right? So I'm going to be making an animatic, and this is why I thought of making this. But once the scenes start getting really complex, and we're going to have different shots within the scene, maybe different locations, I think it's going to be better to chunk it up. It'll be better for, I think, me managing all these shots and also for the computer to, handle it. Because once your blend file gets like gigabytes and gigabytes, it starts to slow down your computer, and especially for people out there who don't have a very strong computer. You can see that these scenes are linked at the top here. We have our main. This is what we're working on, the sequence here. We have our main, and you can see that we have scene shot one, shot two, shot three. You can see the blend file that they're connected to. I just named them the same thing. And you can also see these scene files in the viewport here. So we're in our main file, and you can see this is grayed out because I can't affect anything. If I want to change this cube in this scene, scene one, shot one, I have to go into that blend file, this blend file, and actually change it, right? So we're going back to our main, and I think will give you some good nuance if I wanted to cut a few frames earlier, a few frames later. And these are getting their length and their frame rate from the blend file that they're from. So let's start from the beginning, and you can start seeing how this works. So I'm going to exit out of this. Don't save. So what we need to have is the different blend files that are the different shots, right? So I have S1, S2, S3, and as you saw, all this is a Blender file. I want you to imagine like if I made a big intricate scene. This is the intro shot of the cube, and then it goes into a different location. Or a different shot that requires different geometry, and now we're here with the star, the monkey, and then at the end we get the reward as scene 3. So here we are. So these are all self-contained files, and it would even be efficient if you linked all the materials to each other too. That would make it a little bit more optimized for the computer. So let's start from the beginning. We erase the main, and we're going to start right from the get-go. So I'm going to launch Blender. I'm using the Blender launcher, and I'm using 3.0. Let me put my screencast keys for you to be able to see my keys. All right, so here we are. So first thing I want to do is I'm going to name this the main scene, right? And the main scene is just where I'm going to be editing all the video sequences and stuff. So here we go. We're in the main scene. I'm also going to hit save, and I'm going to call this main. Here we go, main. There we go. Now the first thing we want to do is I want to set up this layout to look correctly. Let me toggle this full screen. So I'm going to hit this little plus sign. I'm going to go to video editing and then video editing. This will make this template the way that I want it. So I have what I can see here in the preview for the video editor, and I can start adding in my scenes. So if I hit Shift A, I can add in, clips, mask, and scenes, but I have no scenes, right? The only scene is this main scene, and I can't add itself. So I have to import or link the scenes from the other blend file. So I'm going to hit File, Link, and here's S1, S2, and S3. So we'll just go to S1, S1, Scene, and we'll link that. We're not necessarily importing it in. This is just referencing this file, right? So there's link 1. We'll do it again for 2. So let me get out here, 2. And then we'll do it one last time for 3. Boom, scene 3. Now when I hit Shift A, I can add in the scene, right? So there's scene 1, scene 2, or I should say shot 1, shot 2, and shot 3. I'm going to color these differently just so I can see the difference. Red, green, and blue, RGB. Okay, so here we are. I'm gonna make this a little shorter, and now I have my scenes. I'm like, all right, let me set up the scene here. I'm like, all right, cool. There's my intro, there's my monkey, there's the payoff, the gems, right? So imagine these being intricate scenes, and if I wanted to change something in this scene here, like this cube, I'm like, all right, can I just go to layout and then go to this scene here? I can't. So you got to remember that these are linked. So these are linked to the file. I can't change anything here. You can see I'm trying to rotate it, grab it. You can even see it's grayed out. I can't affect this scene at all, right? So let's go back to video editing, and you can see that our clips are gone. The reason is because we're in this scene. This is referencing this entire scene, and that's not where we put in the video sequencing. The video sequencing is in main. So in your main file, make sure that you're in the main scene. There we are. So if I wanted to edit this cube to be a different shape, let me go into the file. So I'm going to leave this open, and I'm going to go into scene 1, shot 1. Let's open this up. It's opening up a grand scene. All right, so now I'm like, all right, cool. So this scene needs to be, let's say it has to be shorter. So let's put it at like 100 frames. And I need this scene to be not a cube. I want it to be a cone, for example, right? So there's our cone. We'll rotate it so it's somewhat interesting looking. And you can see we play it and it goes in, right? So I'm going to hit save. So I did Control S, or you can just click here, save. I'm going to close this now. And then we're going to go back to our main scene, and we're going to look, and we're going to be like, oh man, why hasn't this updated? This is not good. And this is something that's I think a little bit of a quirk, right? Or there needs to be a button or something, because this doesn't automatically refresh, right? So there's two things we have to do here. And this is why I'm making this tutorial, because it's kind of, maybe I'm doing it the wrong way, or maybe there's an easier button. So the way to get this to refresh, right, is I have to go into the outliner, change this. Instead of going to this display mode to layers, I'm going to go to blend file. And here's our 3 scenes, right? Scene 1, 2, and 3, right? So we changed scene 1. What we need to do is hit right click on that scene, hit reload, and we're like, all right, cool. I'm like, it still doesn't work. What's happening? And the next thing we have to do is view, refresh all. Boom, now it changed it to a cone. Now it updated. And you think, oh man, that's a little bit of a hassle. And I agree. So I think a way to mitigate those amounts of clicks is what I would do is let's change both of these, right? And I'll show you what I'm going to do to try and make that like a faster way of doing that. So let's change both the monkey and the gem. So I'm going to go into our file. Let's go to scene 2 right here. We're going to change this into Ataris. We'll just do that one. We'll rotate it. There we go. It's rotating. We will save. We will close. We will open 3. We're changing all the scenes here. There's big sweeping notes. Okay, we'll change the gem, and we'll change this into a cylinder. Rotate it. You see that it's rotating. Beautiful. We hit save and we close. Now, as you see, these are still the same, right? Monkey, diamond. I need these to update. So what I do to like make this a little bit faster is I hit select all, I right click, and for reload, I right click again and I hit add to quick favorites. It's already in my quick favorites. So it says remove, but this will say add to quick favorites. Boom, you add that to quick favorites. So now I can hit A, select all, Q, reload, and then here I would hit view, refresh, and then I'll add this to quick favorites. It's already in my quick favorites, so just as remove. It should say add for you, and then I hit Q, refresh all, and now my scenes have been updated, and you can see I can have everything self-contained and it refresh. So there's 2 things you have to do. You know, you change everything, you save them in their respective files, select all, then right click reload or hit it in your quick favorites, and then view refresh all. So right click refresh all, or I'm sorry, Q refresh off. It's in your quick favorites, and it should refresh, right? So that is the basic, I think, workflow of working with these scenes, with linked files to optimize your scenes. And now when one Blender file crashes or corrupts, it doesn't ruin your entire all your scenes. I guess it'll just ruin the sequence, or maybe just one of the scenes and stuff. So here's some like caveats to this type of stuff, right? So let's say I go in and I rename this S1 and I try to be descriptive on the file name, right? I go into the file name, I add in cube. Well, it's not a cube anymore, but let's just say intro. All right, I named it intro. I'm going to save this. I'm going to close this. I'm like, all right, cool. I renamed some files and I open up the main file again. When we go to scene 1, it is blank. And it is blank because, see, if we go to the outliner and then we go to Blender file, we could see that it's cracked. It's missing, right? So if we go, even if you go into the layout and you try to check it out, you'll see that it's missing, right? It's red. So let's go back to the main. So there's a way to fix this, right? Is you can right click the broken file here. You can always check broken files by going to File, External Data, Find Missing. Oh, not Find Missing. That'll just try and locate the file, right? So External Data, Report Missing, and you can see the report here, and it'll show you all the files that need to be fixed, right? So when I was doing this, I was trying to figure out, I broke it on purpose so that I could fix it. I was like, can I just go to External Data, Find Missing? What this is doing is trying to look for the exact file name. Like if you move that file and then you're trying to locate it again. And that's not what we want. We renamed it to S1 intro, which is right here, right? It doesn't work. So what you have to do is you have to go to the outliner, right? Boom. Go to the blend file. Boom. You see that it's broken here. You right click it, right? Hit relocate, and then you do the intro. And then it's still not working, right? Because we have to refresh it again. So let's refresh, or click it, reload, and then refresh. And now we're back, right? Now we're connected and everything seems to be working fine. So just know that renaming your files is going to affect the linking of the main. So make sure you come up with the file name that you're not going to be changing at all. So those are the quirks of working in this workflow: the reloading and refreshing and linking of the files. And I just think it's a good thing to know. But I think this is going to be a good way of working, because then you can like really separate it and really piece it together here in the edit. And of course you have all your tools that you can do here, like fades and cuts, and you can really fine tune. Another thing to keep in mind is that the frame rate of the scene files, I think, transfer over. So let's put this scene file, let's make it something crazy. So let's open up our scene, and I'm doing this on the fly. Go to intro it. Go to the intro, I mean. This may be cut out. So let's change this frame rate to something silly like 240, right? So now when we play it, it's super fast. All right, we're gonna hit save, close, minimize this. We'll select all, reload, select all, refresh. Yeah, so it looks like it's just taking the whatever the scene file is here. So let's go back to our properties, our scene file. It's going 24 frames a second. And I just think that this main file, that's just how fast it's going, regardless of the speed here. So just keep in mind, another thing you can change to, right, is let's go to S1 intro. See, and if you change even the resolution of the camera, so if we put it from 1080 to 1080, it's a square now. We'll save it. You see that it's still the same. So obviously we have to do the same thing here. They're all selected, reload, refresh. And you can see it's now in a square, right? So just know that these scenes are getting all their information from their scene file and going into this main file that you're using that's linked. And then I think the the frame rate that it's going to be going at, it's going to be the frame rate that it's in this main file. So I think that's the general workflow, a little nitty gritty for I guess most Blender users, but I think it's a very useful way if you're going to be making a long files, like long videos or long, and I think this works in 3D. I'm going to be using it for Grease Pencil and 3D, and I just think it's neat. Hopefully this helps you out. Thank you guys for watching, and have a great day.